Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Afrinesh Amanat and we will discuss infective endocarditis. It is microbial infection of the heart valves or mural endocardium that leads to formation of vegetations composed of thrombotic debris and microorganisms, and these vegetations are destructive in nature. Blood vessels which are affected are aorta, aneurysmal sacs, and prosthetic devices are particularly susceptible. Organisms include fungi, rickettsia, chlamydial species, and extracellular bacteria. It is classified into acute and subacute form. Acute endocarditis, it is the destructive one, and it frequently involves highly virulent organisms and previously normal valves are attacked. Even if the patient is given appropriate antibiotic therapy or surgery, there is substantial risk of mortality associated with the acute form. Subacute endocarditis is caused by organisms of low virulence and previously abnormal heart valves are affected. The disease appears insidiously, and even if it is left untreated, it follows a protected course, and most of the patients recover after appropriate antibiotic therapy. This figure illustrates the various type of vegetations which are seen in various cardiac diseases. In rheumatic heart disease, you can see the vegetations are small and they are present along the line of closure of the valve. In infective endocarditis, the vegetations are bulky, friable, and they cause destruction of the underlying tissue, and they can also extend to the other tissues. In non-bacterial thrombotic endocarditis, the vegetations are small to medium sized and they are non-destructive. And Libman sac endocarditis is a condition in which the patients of this SLE develop vegetations. Infective endocarditis can develop on the previously normal valves or uh, in case of certain cardiac abnormalities, which include rheumatic heart disease, mitral valve prolapse, and other conditions. Prosthetic heart valves account for 10 to 20% of the cases of infective endocarditis. The foci for bacterial seedling are the pacemaker lines because there is deposition of platelet fibrin deposits at these lines, as well as the indwelling vascular catheters or endocardial damage caused by pre-existing cardiac disease. All these serve as foci where the bacteria can lodge and infective endocarditis can develop. Certain host factors are also contributing ones, and these include neutropenia, immunodeficiency, or if the patient has malignancy, diabetes mellitus, or he is IV drug abuser, or he takes alcohol. Causative agent on the deformed or damaged valves, Streptococcus viridans is responsible for 50 to 60% of the cases of infective endocarditis. Staphylococcus aureus is more virulent and it can attack the healthy as well as the deformed valves, and it is responsible for 10 to 20% of the cases. And it is also the major offender in IV drug abusers. This line is asked in multiple choice questions. Either the bacteria can enter the bloodstream or the bacteria can infect the thrombi on previously abnormal valve or prosthetic valves, and ultimately they can lead to endocarditis. Enterococci and a group called Haeckel group are also the etiological agents, and the Haeckel group are the commensals in the oral cavity. In both acute and subacute forms, there is formation of bulky, friable, and destructive vegetations, and these contain fibrin, inflammatory cells, as well as the microorganisms. The valves which are affected are aortic and the mitral ones. These are the most common sites of infection. Tricuspid valve is target in the setting of IV drug abusers. This line is also important. The vegetations can be single or multiple, and they can erode in the underlying myocardium where they produce ring abscess. On the left side, you can see the formation of friable bulky vegetations, and these are caused by Streptococcus viridans on previously myxomatous mitral valve. This is showing subacute endocarditis. On the right side, you can appreciate the cuspal destruction and ring abscess caused by Staph aureus in acute endocarditis. The shedding of emboli is common because these vegetations are friable in nature, and abscesses can develop at the sites where emboli lodge, and this can lead to development of septic infarcts and aneurysms from bacterial infection of the arterial valve. Therefore, they are known as mycotic aneurysms. The subacute form causes less valvular destruction. On microscopy, the vegetations of subacute endocarditis have granulation tissue, which indicates its chronicity. Clinical features include fever, which is the most consistent sign. In subacute form, the fever may be absent, and manifestations are non-specific fatigue, weight loss, and flu-like syndrome. Splenomegaly is also common in subacute form. In the acute form, there is rapidly developing fever, development of chills, and weakness. Murmurs are present in 90% of the patients with left-sided lesions. And if the patient is not treated promptly, microemboli are formed, which can give rise to petechiae, splinter hemorrhages, rod spots, and Osler nodes. We will discuss them in the next slides. And diagnosis is confirmed by positive blood cultures and echocardiographic findings. The criteria used for diagnosing infective endocarditis is known as the Duke's criteria. If you can remember, the criteria used for diagnosis of rheumatic fever is Jones criteria. Don't mix them together. Duke criteria has certain major forms and the minor forms. The major criteria include positive blood culture and echocardiographic involvement. Positive blood culture, typical organism from 2 cultures. Persistently positive blood culture taken more than 12 hours apart, or 3 or more positive cultures taken over more than 1 hour. And minor criteria include predisposing valvular abnormality, IV drug misuse, pyrexia more than equal to 38°, embolic phenomena, vasculitic phenomena, and blood cultures suggestive. Definitive infective endocarditis requires pathological criteria and clinical criteria. The pathological criteria includes evidence of vegetation or intracardiac abscess, which is confirmed on histology showing active endocarditis, and associated microorganism, which can be demonstrated by culture or histology. Clinical criteria includes 2 major criteria, or 1 major and 3 minor criteria, or 5 minor criteria. Now the various types of the major and the minor criteria we have discussed in this slide. The various manifestations include Osler's node. These are basically manifestations of emboli which reach various parts of the body. Erythematous nodules on the tips of fingers and toes are known as the Osler nodes. Janeway lesions are erythematous macules on palms and soles. Rod spots are retinal hemorrhages with pale centers. Osler nodes are painful and palpable, while the Janeway lesions are painless. Splinter hemorrhages occur on the nails. The prognosis depends on the organism which is infecting and the development of complications. Complication can develop in the first week, and it includes glomerulonephritis. Now, what is non-infective vegetations? These include non-bacterial thrombotic endocarditis. As the name indicates, there is deposition of sterile thrombi on the cardiac valves, and it occurs in those with underlying hypercoagulable state. in otherwise healthy individuals. Now, what are the various hypercoagulable states? These can include chronic disseminated intravascular coagulation, hyperestrogenic states, underlying malignancy, particularly the mucinous adenocarcinomas. The mucin has a procoagulant effect, or there can be elaboration of tissue factor by these tumors. Endocardial trauma resulting from the indwelling catheter is also a predisposing condition. Merantic endocarditis. Merantic is a Greek word meaning wasted away. As the name indicates, diseases associated with generalized disability or wasting can also increase the risk for non-bacterial thrombotic endocarditis. And the sterile lesions are non-destructive in nature. They are small and occur on previously normal valves. These lesions can also give rise to emboli, which can cause infarcts in the brain and as well as the other organs. They can also serve as nidus for bacterial colonization and can ultimately lead to infective endocarditis. The endocarditis, which is seen in patients of SLE, is known as Libman sac endocarditis. The vegetations are also sterile in nature, and they occur in 10% of the patients of SLE. The reason is the immune complex deposition and associated inflammation associated with the fibrinoid necrosis of the valve. Thank you, class, for listening.